Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Thanks, everybody. So this is our leadership forum, last one of this semester, and part of what we'd like to get through this conversation concerns leadership. But before that, if we can just go through a little bit more in detail about your career arc since you left Utah State. So the first one in Woodbury's history.
Yes.
To be in this position. So can you tell us a little bit about Woodbury?
Yes.
I see signs, right?
Yes, you
and
do.
as you probably also do with various real estate. So what does Woodbury do, and why this role now after 100 years?
So Woodbury Corporation, can you guys hear me okay? Is that okay? Woodbury Corporation is a 100-year, they're celebrating their 100 years today, which is pretty amazing. Family-owned and operated business. Usually family companies fall apart in the third generation, but this is fourth generation and going strong. It's really exciting. They're a full-service real estate and development company, and they have quite a presence here in Logan and specifically at Utah State. In fact, they're the major, and I wrote all this down because I didn't want to get it wrong. They are the major owners and operators of the Utah State Innovation Campus that's just on 600 East and 800 North. So they didn't develop that land, but they acquired it. And here's how the Woodbury family got involved in Logan and Utah State is back in I think it was the early 90s. Logan was kind of starting to boom a little bit, but they weren't quite large enough that they were on major retailers' radars yet. Like back when I went here, you guys, it was the biggest deal that we got Ruby Tuesdays. And I still die when I come up here and you have like
2 Walmarts.
2 Walmarts. I mean, hello. I mean, you guys have so many more, like Chili's and Ruby Tuesdays were like date nights, okay? I haven't been to a Ruby Tuesdays since I was, like a student here at Utah State, but so we were just on the cusp, not big enough that we really gained a lot of, or Logan was just on the cusp of booming, but hadn't quite yet. And the Woodbury saw this as a great opportunity. They loved that. But instead of coming in and just buying land and developed, they formed great relationships with a lot of legacy families here. You guys probably know some of these names. Baugh family here in Logan is very known. The Stokes family is very known. I wrote them down because I didn't want to miss any of these family names. So anyways, what one of the Woodburys did is they started building relationships with these families who were major landowners here, and the land maybe hadn't been developed yet. And so the Woodburys built a lot of great partnerships with these families and said, listen, you put in the land, we'll develop it, and we'll be partners. And those partnerships still hold strong today. So that's how the Woodburys own, like, you guys know where the Cafe Rio is. That's a Woodbury property where, let's see, again, I wrote this all down because I did not want to get it wrong for you guys. Like the PetSmart, the Old Navy, the Down East, that's a Woodbury Corporation property. The Chick-fil-A, the Costa Vida, that's Kitty Corner, the Cafe Rio, that's a Woodbury. The Utah State Innovation Campus. So anyways, it's kind of unique. And I feel like that story really tells a lot about Woodbury Corporation and the Woodbury family. Is they're very conscious developers. They love to stay local. They love to help communities. They're really in it to help communities and to build relationships. So they've been around 100 years, and several years ago, their legacy property is in Orem. If you guys are familiar at all with Orem and Provo, University Mall, that was like the big mall of the time. And so that's their legacy property. And so they have a strong presence in Orem, and they contributed a lot of money. They contributed a lot of money everywhere, including to Utah State. I think they have, anyways, I think one of their last, when I first came to Woodbury Corporation, they had just donated $1 million to the new Student Athletic Center. So they're just great to all of the schools, and they're always try to be really fair. But at Utah Valley University, because where Orem is where a lot of their legacy projects are, they gave the most donations, and it's now the Woodbury School of Business there. And it was when they're a family who I would say is comparable to a Huntsman family, to an Ksl, to a Sorensen, but they do not like the attention. They like to fly under the radar. They, didn't want any of the media attention, so people don't know their names as well. But when they became the UVU School of Business, the Woodbury School of Business, people were starting, they're just like this building where it's Huntsman, their name, Woodbury, is on a building, and that was very new to them. And they realized they started getting a lot of attention, and they didn't know how to handle it or what to do, and they thought, we need somebody in public relations. And that's when they opened up this role. So I've been there about 4 years. So that's how I got my current job here. And you stopped me because I could just keep talking.
It's about you.
Okay, my degree, well, hello, then I'm never gonna stop. So my degree is communications, that's what I do. I was a reporter, I was an anchor, now I'm in PR. I love to talk, I love to tell stories, and I love an audience. So again, please stop me if I start getting off track. You guys start booing me or something if I get off track. So anyways, that's been really fun. So I was the first person to hold this position. It's a 100-year-old family company, okay? One of the patriarchs was, 94 years old, still coming to work 6 days a week when I was there. And I bring that up because it was one of maybe the challenges I had with this new role in PR is I had to really try to push the family members and the company out of their comfort zone. My first press release actually was when they made the $1 million donation, $1 million donation to the athletic department here to build one of the new buildings. This was about 4 years ago. And I said, let's do a press release. Let's let people know what you're doing. And oh my gosh, that was so scary for them because they make these donations and they don't want people to know. And so that was the first press release I did for them, and it really kind of made them uncomfortable. And so that's kind of been my job, is to kind of very slowly hold their hands and say, here's why this is important, because people are going to see your name and they're going to love that you gave to a school like Utah State. And maybe a future business owner or a future tenant or a future partner is going to read that in the paper and then remember your name and say, oh yeah, I remember you did this. Yeah, I want to talk to them. Yeah, I want to do business with them. I want to do a deal with them. So anyways, that's kind of, one of my main motivations when I do any kind of PR outreach for them is how can this help the corporation do a deal in the future? It's not at all, look at me, stroke me, I want attention. It's more like, you guys, this is going to help to build your business. Your name needs to get out there, and let's control the messaging. I want to control when people talk about you, I want to give them things that, oh yeah, I just read about them. They did this great thing. Oh, I just saw this. They did this great thing. I want to put that in their minds. And so when they're doing business with you or they hear about you, they have some of that background information, because the Woodburys would never bring up in a business deal, what they had done, especially philanthropy efforts.
So how do you get a company, and today it's 4 brothers, right?
So there's 5 principals who run it. They're called the third generation, and they're anywhere from in their 60s to 70s. They run it. 2 brothers, 2 are brothers, 3 are brothers, so they're all cousins. And it is all male. It's mostly a male-dominated family, but they have sisters who are invested and involved, but it is run by those. And then between those, between those 5 people, they've got about 20 kids who work. They're called the 4th generation. So I really have 30 bosses I'm at work with every day. Because first of all, is there a Woodbury in this? You guys, I spoke last year in the communications department. I didn't know there was a Woodbury. So anyways, it's a great family. It's a large family. But so now there's 20 of the 4th generation. So it's very unique working for a family business because, I've got 30 people who I need to please.
And with various understanding and comfort with PR.
Yes.
So I know a couple of them. So if you can tell us that, right? So between Jeff.
Okay, Jeff,
and Artie.
Jeff, Artie, yes. So
big difference, right?
Yes.
So how do you get all these 30 people? You're the PR director, first one.
Yes.
They're not used to this.
I know.
A woman.
Yeah. So, we've got the 5 principals who run it, and they're really starting to groom. They groom all the 4th generation. The 4th generation, they're millennials. They're like you guys. A little, maybe some are your age, some a little bit older. None older than 36 or so, 37-ish, but they understand the need for PR. They understand the need for somebody to be controlling or helping to control as best they can the message to media, because now there's social media. So the fourth generation gets it. The third generation, you guys, that's like maybe your parents, even your grandparents' age. That's the generation that's a little bit harder, that I have to try to encourage or push out of their comfort zone a little bit. At the end of the day, not too much out of their comfort zone, because I work for them and I will do what they say. But the fourth generation, they understand the need for somebody to be talking about their company. And I think they like, too, that maybe it's not a family member. They would never want to feel like they were bragging or trying to toot their own horn. So that's kind of my job. That's what I get to do for them.
Yeah. So before Woodbury, you were a very different place from culture. So method.
Yes.
Dave Parkinson's very different.
You know Dave?
Than Jeff. So how's method?
You know all my bosses here.
I don't know anybody at Ksl.
So I'm going to tell stories about Dave Parkinson. You don't tell him that I told these stories.
What stays in this room?
So with David Parkinson, and he's a great guy. So he worked for the Sorensen family. Are there any Sorensen buildings up here?
I don't know.
Okay, so there's, at University of Utah, there's Sorensen buildings. So again, my point is they're a family like a Huntsman, like an Ksl, like a Sorensen, a very, very, influential, giving family. And so David Parkinson, who was my former boss at Method Communications, he spun out from that family and started this agency, which was Method Communications. I was the fifth hire. It was a startup. This was right after I had left Ksl, and I thought, I'm starting a family. I had just gotten married. I didn't want to do the TV hours anymore. And TV was changing. Broadcast was changing. This is when the economy really hit. And, like now we only have one newspaper. I mean, I know we still have the Tribune, but,
We're kind of fans of that paper, so.
Of course. So media was changing. TV wasn't what it used to be, which, I look at you guys, and you guys probably don't know the golden age of TV when everybody turned their channel on at 6 at night and watched the news. That is what you did. You guys have probably never done that, right? You go to your blogs or you go online and you get it when you want it. You get the news when you want it. Well, there was a time where you couldn't do that. You had to sit down and turn the TV on at 6 o'clock, and that is when you got your news. And you got it from there were only maybe four sources, which now you guys have so many sources and outlets you get to pick from. So anyways, I loved TV. I did the TV, but I had gotten married. I made the transition into PR because I wanted more family-friendly hours. I was going to start a family. I was going to be the primary caregiver of my children, and I didn't want to be working Christmas and nights and weekends and mornings and, crazy hours. I wanted something a little more stable. So I was hired at Method Communications, and that is a public relations agency. So the agency is a little different. I'm in-house at Woodbury. I only do PR for Woodbury. At an agency, you do PR for all the different clients you have, and their focus was tech companies. So I really got to know the tech industry here in Utah, which is really exciting and really booming. But we also did PR for some of the schools. We did PR for University of Utah. We did PR for the Huntsman Cancer Center. So, I got to do some PR with Mr. Huntsman before he passed away. They had just announced they were going to add a a pediatric cancer center. So I got to do that, PR with him and work closely with the family in that. And this was right as John Huntsman Jr. was announcing he was going to run for presidency. So it was several years ago. How old are you guys? What? Oh my gosh. So I don't even know if you guys remember that. Do you guys remember when John Huntsman Jr. was running for president? Oh my gosh. Oh, I used to be the young one in the room, you guys. One day, I feel like I could hang with you, but I can't. So.
You lost them at TV.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, I got, my point is, when I was at this agency, I got to do some great PR work with a lot of the families, including, the building that we're in here, the patriarch of that family, which was a great opportunity. It was a great opportunity. And David Parkinson, which I learned so much of, he's really who taught me all about public relations. I owe it all to him. And I was with them. I was a vice president with them. It was a startup company. You know, you guys will probably have the opportunity to work with a startup company, is my guess. And it's hard. It is hard, and it is intense, and it is long hours, and especially when you have a man like David Parkinson as your boss who demands and expects nothing but perfection. So it's hard, but it was a lot of fun. I came home from work every day crying, but it was worth it because I put the time in, and that's what gave me the opportunity to work for somebody like Woodbury Corporation and really start their public relations, initiative for their corporation.
Yeah. So you alluded a little bit about KSL. So what's if we just take those three, right? KSL and then Method and Woodbury now.
Yeah.
What's the common thread through these, what sound like just amazing opportunities, even though you go home crying? It's great.
Which was good. Those were my best years. Those were my most defining years. So stick to hard things, you guys, because that's really what put me at where I'm at today. I think the common thread for me for that was, I told you guys, first off, I love to talk. I love to tell stories, whether it's my story or somebody else's story or my company's story. That's what I love. And that to me was the common thread, is that I've had the opportunity always on different sides. When I was in TV, I was telling the story in front of the camera, whatever the news was, of the day. As in the agency and at Woodbury Corporation, I get to tell the story of those companies and what they're doing, and I'm telling it to reporters, hoping they'll tell that story in front of the camera. So it was really storytelling, and as I, that question made me reflect a little bit on my career, and I think, some advice I would give to you guys is, that has really resonated with me later in life, is I thought, I need to focus what I'm good at, and I kind of don't, as I get older and more in my career, I don't care as much what I'm not good at. I'm not as concerned about, I'm horrible with numbers and math. Horrible. Like my mother's here. How many times have we gone to a movie and we show up at the wrong time because I can't even get the time straight on a movie, right? So numbers are not my thing. You know what? I am not interested in trying to improve that at all. I married a man who is amazing at numbers, and he handles the numbers. He's in charge of the numbers. I'm in charge of the words in our household. So my point is, though, focus on your strengths, and that is what has gotten me all these different opportunities. And the thread is, I'm really trying to build my strengths, and I try to surround myself with people who are good at my weaknesses, because I'm old enough now, I'm not interested in being this well-rounded, perfect, this well-rounded person in everything. I want to excel what I'm good at, and my weaknesses, I'm going to bring on someone or surround myself with somebody who can pick up that slack.
That's great. So let's go back to when you were their age, here at Utah State, playing soccer.
I'm not going to tell you what year that was, you guys.
Yeah, we're not going to ask you that. And studying journalism. So tell us a little bit about that experience, and maybe now looking back, what was it that happened here for you, or that you did here intentionally, that's led to all of this for you?
I think what is important to me, and you guys, again, I'm in the business of communications. It is the relationships I made. In fact, even still, just last week, there's still a group of us who played soccer here. Now, when I played soccer here, is there anybody on the soccer team here? Okay. So when I played soccer here, it had just become a Title IX sport. So they didn't even have full rights. They didn't even get full rights. There wasn't the budget now. Now the soccer team is amazing. I don't know if I would have, just amazing. The coach is amazing. But when I started here, it was only in its second or third year, just become a Title IX. Our locker room was the away game locker room of the basketball team. We didn't even have our own locker room. We practiced on, I don't even know if there are fields anymore. We practiced by the cemetery where, is there still fields there?
I don't think so.
So gone, okay. Well, we practiced where intramurals, you guys still have intramurals you can sign up for. We would get kicked off our practice because there were intramural games, okay? If that tells you, So it was really fun, though, kind of trailblazing the soccer program here. But it's the relationships. I just had dinner last week with 10 of the girls I played soccer with, and I love it. And that is what is so important to me. But again, I made a livelihood out of communications and relationships and talking. I'm still in touch with some of my professors I had here. So back when in all honesty and all transparency, back when I went here, it was maybe 20 years ago, maybe not, I don't know. But back when I went here, the broadcast program and the communications program was not as sophisticated as it now is now. There's this beautiful building right here built for it. You guys, I had classes in this ag science building. We did a broadcast. I love this story. So you guys have student news. Do you guys watch the student? Okay. So when I was here, we recorded that in the ag science building. There was this little tiny room that they used to sell Aggie ice cream out of before they moved Aggie ice cream to its location now. So it was just this little room. So our equipment was on an old freezer where there was still like petrified drips of ice cream down the counters. So it was so low budget, so low, and now it's so sophisticated, and I'm so proud of how it's grown. But anyway, that's where I learned. But you know what? It didn't matter because I still had the drive. Like I would have loved to have gone to this new building too, but it was just having this drive and this passion to want to be a broadcaster and to go for it. So anyways, I was able to get a great internship while I was here. I interned at KUTV Channel 2, and that was really helpful. But I think a lot of it was just the support of the staff, never holding me back, even though, we were doing, BYU at the time had the old KSL set and was so professional, those students, and we're doing it in this old Aggie ice cream shop, with, ice cream literally dripped down the sides of the wall. But, it just didn't matter because we still, if you wanted the opportunity, it was there for the taking, which is something I feel that I have tried to do my whole life, is just take what I want, take the opportunities that I wanted and go for it. So
yeah. So if we can shift a little bit, talk a little bit about leadership.
Yeah. What
were some of your earliest lessons in leadership?
This is where you can't tell David Parkinson this story. So what I learned about leadership, I was really lucky throughout my life, even in high school when I was here, and even my first, I worked in small market TVs. I always had great news directors or great bosses, and they always stroked me and told me I was so great and that I did a good job and I was going to go far, and that was just so great, and I felt so good about myself. And then I'm going to tell you guys honestly that the reason I left KSL was I got let go. And that was a huge blow to my ego. So in TV, it works on contracts. You negotiate your own contracts, whether it's 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. And so my contract was up. And again, the whole, media industry was changing. There were layoffs, all over the place. Stations were shutting down, newspapers were shutting down, and my contract was up. Management had totally turned upside down. And so it was new management. And, I thought all I ever wanted to be my whole life, I was going to be a TV anchor at KSL, and that was it. I never wanted to go national. I wanted to be at KSL because I'm from Utah. So, at 25 years old is when I got back to KSL, and, by 27, I was an anchor, and I had made it. That was my life plan. I didn't have another life plan sketched out. I didn't think I needed one. And so when I go in, when I think I'm negotiating my next contract for the next 5 years, I thought I was going to die at KSL. And when they told me, thank you for your service, we're not renewing your contract as of today, I was not ready for that. I was not prepared for that. And I look back now, and this was probably the most defining moment in my career, because it's taught me now that I can evolve and I can change. And I tell you guys that because if you have, your dream can change and your goals can change for your career. I mean, my mom is here. She will tell you from the age of 5 years old, I was going to be a news anchor. That was it. There was no plan after that. I didn't need a plan B because I was going to make plan A work. And it wasn't until I was like 30 years old that I realized I need a plan B. So my contract is not renewed. I do not know what I'm going to do. I'm just married. We know we want to start a family. And I thought, my brother said to me, I am so excited for you. I am so excited this happened to you. My brother and I have a tumultuous history, and I thought, you are such a jerk. I cannot believe this is what you're telling me. But as I look back, that was the best pep talk he gave me, because he said, you're going to learn so much about yourself, and you're going to learn what you can really do. And so I was starting from the bottom, like I didn't know what else I wanted to do. And I thought, well, I'd always talked about going into public relations. I'd always talked about that, and maybe now is the time to put my money where my mouth is. And so my point in telling you that story is, one, like you are going to learn and can learn great things when horrible things happen to you in your career. And a lot of it is how you decide to look at it. Trust me, for like 6 weeks, I cried in my room, didn't get out of bed. I thought, like, I cannot leave my room and no one will even notice if I wake up today or not. So it was low, but it also forced me to say, okay, what else can I do? What other skills can I have? How can I use these skills? How can I use my, what I'm good at, and how can I pick myself up and learn something more? And so now I feel like I'm even more valuable, that I have these broadcast skills and now I have PR skills. So again, I might be getting off topic here, but my advice to you is, you can change, you can evolve. When something bad happens, it might be maybe the best thing that happened for you. So once I got let go of TV, I thought, I'm going to go into public relations, and that's where I got in with David Parkinson. Your question was about leadership. So I was the 5th hire. This was a very intense startup. The tech industry, which is just booming, and back 9 years ago when I started, it was just beginning to boom. And so it was just a really, really intense job. And my boss was a really intense guy. And I think he was learning how to start a business. And now he's so successful. His success is absolutely amazing, what he's done with the company. But again, it was really hard for me. He wasn't stroking my ego that I had been used to. He wasn't telling me how great I was and that I was doing such a great job. And I would go home every day just crying, thinking, what am I doing? And my husband said to me, just because he's the CEO right now, maybe doesn't mean he's a leader. And that resonated with me, as you guys are going to work for people who, they may not know how to lead, but they're your boss. And I was looking for this leader and for this mentor, and now he is. He's a dear friend of mine, and he is this leader and mentor. But at the time, I think he was running, trying to build this company. And I thought, I need somebody to tell me I'm doing a good job and to tell me I'm great. Instead, you guys, I got put like on probation. Never in my life have I been put on work probation, where, if I didn't turn things around and do X, and, X, Y, and Z, I was going to be let go. I mean, I had never had this happen to me. I usually excel at the things, I put my mind to. But so it made me realize, like, you guys are going to work for people where maybe it's not the greatest leadership, and it is going to frustrate you, and you are going to want, where's my mentor? Where's my leader? And there might be years in your career where you don't have that. But you keep going and you keep learning, and I just kept going to work every day, doing the best that I could do and working as hard as I could work. And it works out. And again, that I feel like is where your greatest experience is going to come, is not when you're on top of the world flying high. It's going to be when you're at the bottom and you have to decide, am I going to keep doing this, or am I going to give up and be done because it's too hard? So I learned that just because somebody is your boss doesn't mean they're going to be a great leader at that time. Now he is one of my mentors. He is one of my leaders. I adore him. And it's been amazing, what he's taught me, but it was rough, in the beginning there. So I just think with leadership, sometimes in your career, you're not going to have it. Like, you're not going to have somebody to look to and to lead you how you need to be led. But just stick with it and find it within yourself, because then there's going to be times in your career where you are going to have an amazing mentor who's going to help you, through the whole process. But it's not going to be your whole life.
Yeah. So let's talk about mentors a little bit. So Dave Parkinson grew into a mentor.
Yes.
Who are some other mentors you've had in your life?
Let me think. So how I found my mentors is I would watch people carefully, and it's who I liked the best or who I wanted to be the most like. I picked my mentors. And I would go to them and I would just, one of them was, I think, when my time at Utah State, it was a professor here, Dale Cressman, and I think he teaches at BYU now in the communications department. His wife, Rebecca, is on one of the radio stations still, Rebecca Cressman. If you guys probably don't listen to the radio stations. Okay. If you do one time, it's like those knobs in your car, that you have to like push the button and tune in. So anyways, but Dale Cressman, he was great, and he was always just very supportive of me and believed in me, and he would help me. And we stayed in touch even after, I went off to my first job and even in KSL, and it reminds me now I probably need to email him. But I feel like the mentors I had, I really sought out in my career. I was so fortunate to have a mom and a dad, who were amazing mentors too. My mom just rolled her eyes at me. But who are amazing mentors who always, taught me, like, go for it, just do it. And, I always knew I had their support. It's funny now as, like, the tide has turned. I now am trying to pay that forward and now trying to be mentors to the interns we have. Or that's why I just love when I get asked to speak up here to you guys, even though I feel like we're the same age and I could totally hang with you. I realize I can't, and I could probably, like, be your mother or your older sister. I could be your older, wiser sister. But now I try to mentor and to help in any way I can, students like you or interns or people who are younger at Woodbury Corporation who come, and just try to help them. And so much is just letting them know, like, go for it, do it. I've always, people usually attain the goals they set for themselves. They usually live up to your expectations if you give them that high expectation. So,
One of the questions that we usually get, I might steal that from one of the audience members, is about balance. So you've got husband, kids.
4 kids, 7 years old to 7 months. So
And 30 bosses.
And 30 bosses.
Or so. So how do you juggle all of that?
So when KSL didn't renegotiate my contract, I got some other offers from some of the local stations to go back into news. And again, I had just gotten married. We knew we wanted to start a family. I got married, I think I was 30 or 31, which, in Utah cultures is like quite old. It is not old. But I thought, I want to start a family. And so I thought, if I go back into TV, I know what it's going to be. It's going to be working holidays and weekends and nights. You guys, it was so fun doing in my 20s when I didn't have any family commitments when I was single. I loved it. I worked every Christmas for 10 years. But I didn't want to do that anymore. I had done that. And so that's how I decided to go into PR, for the balance reason is I need more stable hours. Now, PR, when I was at the agency, companies would have crisis every time of day, every time, of the hour. That was really stressful. My boss worked with me. He was so great working with me. I was the 5th hire. I feel like I paved the way. I was the only pregnant one there. Nobody knew how to deal with a pregnant working woman. And I said to them, I will come back to work, but I will only come back part-time, and I will work from home, take it or leave it. He was awesome. He took it. He said, we're going to work with you, because he saw that he needed women in the workforce. And he saw, too, that millennials, you guys are not 9 to 5, elbows and butts in desk. You need to have flexibility and work from home or whatever, which I love that you guys your generation has demanded that. I mean, you guys, if you go see the tech companies now and how people are catering to the millennials, because they understand, you're such great talent, but you are not, it's not acceptable to work 8 to 5, and that you're going to miss your kids' preschool programs, or you're going to miss these things. I think it's really impressive. You guys have really been a force, and you guys have changed now how industries work. So anyways, my former boss, he said, okay, we're going to work with you, because he understood, he wanted to keep talent. He wanted to keep females, especially in Utah. He understood that, family was so important here. So I worked from home. I worked part-time. I mean, it was probably 30 hours a week, but if I had to leave early or had childcare issues, he worked with me on that. So that was a great balance. But the thing is, at agencies, your boss is really your client. So, when, we worked with like Adobe, when they had a crisis, I couldn't say, well, my babysitter canceled on me, so I'm not going to be able to work on your crisis. Can we do it tomorrow? Like, that doesn't fly. So it was getting increasingly difficult. I feel like my poor first child spent so much time in his crib because I would just have to say, love ya, put him in his crib, shut the door, let him cry while I go, was on a conference call or worked. So when Woodbury Corporation came to me, now again, a 100-year-old company, and I said to them, I'm not going to fight you on price, I'm going to fight you on balance. And I will work for you. I'm not going to work full time. I'll work 30 hours a week and I'm going to work from home. And I might be late to work and I might have to leave work early, take it or leave it. I was in a great position. I look back now at how maybe demanding I was, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I acted like that. But I was in a great position. I didn't need a job. I had a great job. And so I could really fight for what I wanted. And so I was the first person at Woodbury Corporation. I work from home. I'm part-time. Nobody else has that. And so I kind of had to be vocal about that and pave my way, in my companies. But what I found is they were like, okay, we'll try it. So I'll tell you, on the flip side of that, I work every night. I pull out my laptop where maybe 9-to-5ers, they're done. They turn their phones off, they step away. I am always on my phone. I am always on my laptop. I get things done sometimes Saturday morning when my husband takes the kids. So there's a trade-off with it. But I've made it work out, and fortunately, all of my employers have been able to work with me. And that's something I think you guys, the millennial generation, thank you for doing that and for, making businesses and corporations see there's another way to do this besides just 9-to-5 or 8-to-5 Monday through Friday. So that's how I've been able to find balance. But I've been fortunate. I don't know if everybody else is always so fortunate, but I feel like companies now understand that there needs to be that kind of balance.
I think I find that generally companies will bend over backwards for talent.
Yes, yeah,
So-
I think that's what it is. Male or female, doesn't
Right.
matter. They will.
So if you want to get that leverage, show them.
And you've
That
got to
you're
pay
worth
your
it.
dues.
Right.
I mean, you've got to work hard and prove it. I feel like it is a privilege that I get to work from home. So I almost feel like I have to work extra hard to show them, hey, I may be late every day when everyone else is in the office at 8:30 and I come in at 9:15 because I have to get my kids to school. But, something happens at 10 at night, I'm the first one, on the phone, on whatever you need, doing it. So you have to prove it.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and earn it.
Great. Well, I think we've got some time for questions, so please raise your hand. Tell us your name and what you're studying. We've got some mics here.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't know if you can hear me, but
I
If you can stand up and have that really close to your face so we can all hear you.
oh, you want me to stand up?
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Hi. My name is Lisa. I'm a journalism student, and I want to be a TV reporter.
Woohoo!
And so my question is, what skills do you feel like you built and really worked on as a TV reporter that you have seen in your PR jobs and other jobs where you're like, oh, this is coming into play now, if that makes sense?
Become a good writer. Right. Take every writing class you can. Right. Even though TV, TV's the different media because it's the spoken word. And so I always was like, oh, I'm not writing. I'm just standing in front of the camera, with the microphone talking. But now, when I first started, oh my gosh, you guys. When I first started, TV stations didn't have websites. We got faxes for press releases. You guys, when I was at Utah State, I took a class that taught you how to email. And that was like an assignment you had to email your professor. I'm dying now because you guys can't even imagine this world. There was a world, you guys, before where there was not email. So I thought, I don't need to write. Now in journalism, your story, you not only verbally say it in front of the camera, You write it because it's going to be on the website. You have to shorten it to write it because you're probably going to have to put some version on Facebook. You're going to have to tweet some version. It's right. You cannot escape writing in journalism. You cannot escape it. So become a good writer. And I was a good writer, but I was sloppy. Like my punctuation, my grammar, it was sloppy because I thought I'm the only one reading it, and I'm just saying it. But now, just become a good writer. Even now, like writing emails, you guys, it drives me nuts when I get emails where there's wrong punctuation or something's capital or someone just didn't go back and reread it. Like, oh my gosh, I won't even, I'm kind of rude. I just dismiss that person. Like, are you kidding me? Like, clean up your emails. So that's some more advice is, I am happy, like, if any of you want to email me or whatever, but my goodness, if you have an error in your email, like, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. And I didn't always used to be that way. So just become a good writer. And also, write for the student newspaper, write for any of your emails, go back to your friends, to your parents, reread it, write it, say it out loud, anything you can do with communications, like just tidy it up, clean it up, and make it as concise as you can and as correct and accurate as you can. So we need to talk after if you want to be on TV. Okay.
This is somewhat of a deja vu experience because just Wednesday we had 100 or so first years of our Huntsman Scholar program.
Oh.
And 6 of our young alumni. And we had this exact conversation about the importance of communication. So
Yes.
it's not just for journalism students. I think it's for all of us, right? Because it's also a continuous thing,
Yes.
right? We're still all learning.
Yes.
But I share your bias for, I won't hire somebody if I see an email or cover letter and, geez.
I know.
That just reflects so much
I
about
know.
lack of attention to detail, lack of critical thinking,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I know y'all just tweet and Insta, but writing is super important.
It really is. Because now you guys are probably going to work from home. You're going to work at companies where they're like, you get to work from home. Your emails with your colleagues, clean it up. Don't use
Hey,
LOL. And yeah, like, no, everything. And I'm not saying everything has to be so proper, but it's got to be accurate and it's got to be clean because it totally reflects you.
Hello.
Hi.
My name's Andrew, and I'm also a journalism student with PR emphasis. My question to you is that Woodbury presents like a very specific PR challenges for a PR professional like yourself. I'm wondering how the tools you use in your PR day-to-day have changed from an agency to internal PR.
Yeah. That's a good question. So at an agency, I was doing like very traditional PR. Their goals, they wanted to be in Forbes and CNN and TechCrunch. Like they wanted everybody to know the money they donated and the good they were doing. They wanted their CEOs and their bosses to be guests and brand experts in the industry. And I mean, you couldn't get them more, they wanted more attention. And so at Woodbury Corporation, that is not their drive. So I came in like, oh, we're going to get Jeff Woodbury, we're going to get you here. And, the other Woodburys, I'm going to get you on here and we're going to do this. And they're like, no, that is not us. And so it really made me stop back and think, I work for them now. And even though I have these idea of what PR is, that's not the PR they want. So I had to learn the PR they want. And what I found to do, because PR still is really new, and there's a lot of things I still could do for them, but I don't know if Woodbury Corporation is ready for it. And so I've said to myself, I just need to make myself as valuable and as helpful as I can. Because I think in this company where PR is so new and a lot of them still don't quite understand the, ROI of it, I could probably disappear and maybe some of them wouldn't know because they're new to it. And I thought, I can't do that. I have to. If I want to keep this job at this great company, I need to make myself as valuable as I can, and even if it's not in PR. And so I have inserted myself in so many other projects that are not traditional PR because I need to make myself valuable to them, that if I don't show up, they will miss me. And trust me, I don't think a lot of them would miss the PR. So I've had to just make myself as helpful and valuable as I can. So I'm doing things that I never did at the PR agency, but again, I'm just inserting myself where I think I can be helpful because I need to be valuable and I need to be needed at this company. And so I feel like that's another thing that, can go across any job or industry. Like, just do it. Like, when I first started in TV, I ran the cameras sometimes. I ran the prompter. Like, I was so hungry, I did anything and everything. And it just made me more valuable. Because the other thing with, as you guys entered the job force, and you're going to be working for lots of companies come and go, so much more now than they ever did back in my time. You guys want to be the most valuable one. You guys want to be the one who's like, well, you're not just our PR person, you also help with this, this, and this. Okay, well, let's probably not cut you. Because all of these startup companies and tech companies, they'll hire 20 people, and then 6 months later, they have to let go because of budget cuts or they didn't get funding. They have to let go 15 of them. But then 6 months later, they got some more investments and they're going to go back and hire 20. So there's a lot of letting go and hiring, I feel like, nowadays, especially, and I know I'm focusing a lot on tech companies, but so you need to make yourself as valuable as you can, however you can, to the company you're at. And it's only going to help you. It's only going to help your resume. So when you have a resume and you're looking for the next job, you just have more to add, and it just makes you easier to market yourself.
Yeah, that's great.
Any other questions?
Hi, my name's Sarah. I just
Hi.
want to start by saying I think you're pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So you talked a little bit about how you've been able to give back by being a mentor to interns or students. So what do you expect out of the students that you do mentor as far as professionalism, and how can we make the most out of the mentors that we have today?
Oh, good question. So I bet you are hungry for it and work hard. You guys are all millennials, right? No, not some of you. Well, yes, you are. I'm like on the cusp of millennials, and none of you are older than me. So I think you have to work hard. And I think sometimes, we've had some maybe interns or some millennials who maybe think that they just get to come and automatically work from home and automatically like get to leave the office early. And I think I would say I would mentor people that you have got to pay your dues. And it only makes you better. And so you've got to, and I congratulated your generation on really changing business and that making people realize you don't always have to be at your desk. But on the flip side, you do in the beginning. And you've got to be hungry and you've got to work hard. And so that's what I would expect. I would not expect, okay, so you guys, there was this one gal who was like, hey, I really want to get into PR. Will you help me? I was like, absolutely, I will help you. And so, she just didn't do any effort on her own. She's like, well, what agencies? And I said, well, what agencies interest you? And she goes, well, I don't know. Well, what agencies are there? So, I listed like 6 agencies in Salt Lake, marketing and PR agencies that, maybe she should apply for, which I guess I had hoped maybe she would come to me and say, I love the work of these guys. What do you think of these guys? So she applied to this company. It was actually Richter 7, Dave Newbolt's company. And she wrote this cover letter that said that Amanda Butterfield, has recommended me for this job, blah, blah, blah. And when she told me that, I said, no, I didn't recommend you for this job. And that, I've built my reputation and worked really hard on my reputation, that I am happy to recommend somebody if they work hard and if I see that. But you do not get to just drop my name that you met me and I recommended you. Like, I was very personally offended because then that just, tarnishes like my reputation that I'm just, Anyways, so my point is, I think just work really hard and put in the hours and be hungry. I always, and this goes even back to my days in soccer, I was never the fastest one, but I was the hungriest one, and I was the one willing to work the hardest. And people, coaches, and people who want to mentor, I think any day they would say they would rather work with somebody who was hungry and wanted it so bad and would work hard than somebody who had all the natural ability in the world but didn't think they needed to work as hard as everybody. So to just be hungry and to work, did I answer your question? Yeah, so just show like enthusiasm in it, and enthusiasm is contagious. And if there's somebody who's enthusiastic in my like line of work, like I want to help them because I know how that feels. And just be helpful and have a good attitude, I think. Just really goes a long way.
That's great.
Great, thank you. Sorry, Levi, we're out of time.
We're going to have one-on-one time after this.
Oh. Okay, thank you so much, and thank you all for being here. Can we give her a round of applause, please?
Oh, thank you guys.